Hey, everybody, it is Gary Carpenter, Master Coach with Master Real Estate Academy. And we are back once again. I think this is actually our 10th week of training every Tuesday or every Thursday. Come on at 1 Central Time, 2 Eastern Time to try to teach some kind of a topic that I'm going over or teaching with the coaching students that I have. So today, I am going to cover marketing. So more importantly, it's basically to, I always try to, in our marketing program, whether it's on the coaching side or it's in our real estate business, it's always to try and stay top of mind. It's to turn on that reticular reactivator in every one of your sphere of influence peeps in your database. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other things as far as what you should be sending, what you should be emailing, what you should be calling to talk about, and kind of systems and stuff like that. So hopefully we're going to have probably about 30 to 45 minutes of training here. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to type them into the comments, and I'll try to take care of them as we go. But for the most part, people are just coming on to listen to this. If you happen to be catching this as a recording, please, again, feel free to reach out to me at 402-680-7000 if you have any interest in or any questions in what I'm teaching today, but also too, for those of you that maybe you're not making or living up to your potential in this industry, real estate industry in particular, and you're open to a little bit of help. I would love to be able to have a conversation with you about a coaching relationship. Kind of one of the things that differentiates me from every other coach in the industry is I don't charge anything unless you produce. So yeah, there's no point in us being in a relationship and you paying thousands of dollars a month if you're not going to produce transactions. So anyhow, if you have any more questions on that, please feel free to reach out to me via Facebook, via text, via email, whatever you want to do. Let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and jump into our slides here. And so kind of a theme on this is, marketing to me is more branding. I think, so here's a quote: a brand is not a product or a promise or a feeling. It's the sum of all the experiences you have with your sphere, with the people that you're in connection with. And to me, what that means to me is that, whether you're talking to them on the phone or via text, or they're reading something that you emailed them, you mailed them a vid, they're watching a video of you, they're connecting with you on social media, it doesn't matter. They know that you're in real estate. They know what your brand is. They know what company you're with. And so your job through all of that messaging is to stay top of mind. That is a brand. It's like whenever I teach live classes, I talk about kids, 10 years or younger, and you ask them where they would like to go have lunch or where they like to go have dinner. And then I have everybody in the classroom yell out the restaurant that they would go to. And 95%, that's a pick from air number, but the majority of people, when they yell out a name, it's McDonald's, right? That is the restaurant that most kids, and it's basically because of branding. One would say it could be the Kitty Prize, but whatever it is, that is typically the restaurant where kids want to go. And it's mainly because of their brand. So anyhow, when my wife Linda and I got back into actually she got her real estate license. I got my real estate license in '98, and not going through my story, I got out of the business for a little bit. Basically, stayed in the industry, but got out of actually selling. But got back in 2010. My wife got her 2011. My wife got her real estate license in 2010, and so right around that same time frame, we were trying to figure out what are we going to do. She was doing really well as a new real estate agent, closing 24 transactions her first year, and so I didn't want to reinvent myself coming back into the business. So we eventually brokered a deal and bought a real estate team called MRG Realty Group. And so we had to create a brand around that. And at the same time, I was thinking, what are we going to do? I saw a report that the National Association of Realtors puts out, which is called it's 2019, 2018. At the time I saw it was the 2010 profile of home buyers and sellers. And so this comes out every year around June or July for the year prior to. So this is a fresh report, and the numbers and the questions that are asked and the surveys that are done are all the same. They really haven't changed anything in it. And really the numbers are about the same each year, although they are getting better, at least the numbers that I'm going to show you. So when I saw these numbers, that literally changed how I was going to focus my business. Okay. At the time in 2008, 9, and 10, agents were really getting focused on online leads. They were, getting websites, Boomtown, Tiger Leads, Marketing, Real Geeks, all those sites were big sites where, you create these landing pages, you market them on Google AdWords or wherever you want to market them, and you get clicks and people click through on houses or whatever, they sign up. And we're finding that is really hard business, and it's getting even harder because everybody's doing it. There's not an agent probably that's out there that doesn't have some kind of a website that captures leads. So with that being said, I had read this report, and the numbers that came out of this were amazing. And one was the buyer side and one's the seller side. So on the buyer side, it said 41% of buyers used an agent that was referred to them by a friend, neighbor, or a relative. Now, those of you that are out there that are the glass is half empty, you would say, well, there's 59% of the population that is out there that are probably finding through because I think it's like 97% of all people start their search online is that they're finding addresses, searching addresses, whatever, and then they're ending up clicking and getting on a lead capture site. But they also say that in today's stats is that about every buyer that does their search on Zillow and that type of stuff typically has registered on 7 to 10 sites. So the leads have really gotten watered down. So, and I think a good friend of mine, I'll leave him nameless, said that they actually, they're doing just crazy leads, like averaging 11,000 leads a month. And their conversion rate is less than 1%. So, for every one lead you get, for every 100 leads you get, you may schedule an appointment. For every 150 leads you get, you may close one. So it's a lot of conversations. And to be honest with you, you're chasing people that you don't even know, and you're trying to build trust with somebody you don't know. I kind of went in a different direction with our business, and which a lot of top producing agents today use the same system that we have, maybe a little differently, but it's used basically building relationships with people that that know, like, and trust you, right? So anyhow, 41%. And then the next number that was always interesting to me was 68% of buyers interviewed only one real estate agent during their home search. So for the most part, 7 out of 10 people that are buying a house are only interviewing one agent. So for the most part, most real estate agents are not in any competition. And so I focus a little bit more on sellers. So to me, on the stats of the sellers, it was 63% of sellers found their agent through a referral from a friend, neighbor, or relative. And this is an astonishing number. Which was 75% of recent sellers contacted only one agent before finding the right agent they worked with to sell their home. That was the number that solidified what I wanted to do when it came to our business. I was going to find people who wanted to sell their house before they announced it to the world that they wanted to sell their house. And the only way that you could do that is through marketing. And also, too, we did a lot of cold calling neighborhoods, calling farm areas, and planting seeds with people by asking them, hey, have you ever thought about selling your house? And when you say, have you ever thought about, everybody's thought about selling their house who owns a home. And then you basically then ask, well, if you did sell your house, where would you move to? So you're planting a seed, and sometimes those seeds take root and sometimes they don't. But it was a great way for somebody to build a database that maybe does not have a sphere of influence already. So let's talk a little bit about database. And step one is you always have to build your database, right? So it's how do you build your database? And when I talk database, I'm also talking sphere of influence, okay? But a lot of agents have multiple databases. Like if you had a boomtown situation, that's a database. That's a database of online leads, and you'd never want to intermingle those leads with your warm lead list, or your warm people list. They're not necessarily leads, but it could be family members, friends, acquaintances, that type of stuff, people who've done business with you in the past, all of that thing. But they've all said, when you've asked the magic question, which the magic question is, if you know somebody who's thinking about buying or selling real estate anytime now or in the near future, would you feel comfortable in introducing me? By you asking that, for the most part, if somebody knows you, likes you, and loves you, well, I don't think they really need to love you. They just need to like you. They will say yes to that question. So now it's a matter of you creating that opportunity by staying top of mind with them. But when you're building a database, I have worked with agents that essentially have had a very small database, right? So maybe 30 people, somebody that's maybe a transplant, they moved from one city to a next, they didn't grow up in the city, and they just got a really small database. So how do you build that? So we're going to give you some resources. One is cold calling, right? Cold calling, number one tool that we use for cold calling is Mojo. If you're an agent that is already getting enough business from your sphere of influence, and cold calling is, you just don't have time for cold calling, you should still do it. You just need to maybe hire an inside sales associate that's going to make those phone calls for you. Again, leads could be Zillow leads, they could be Realtor.com leads and that type of stuff. But you're just basically trying to filter through the people that aren't so serious to the people that maybe are a little bit more serious and are willing to get together. And so you have an ISA trying to schedule appointments for you. But cold calling also isn't, when you're looking at farming as well, farming is cold calling, but you're not only just calling a farm, you're mailing a farm, you're doing other things in a farm area. For me, we send postcards to our farm area, and the postcard is there to elicit a response. There's call to actions. Either they can call us for more information, whatever the card is that goes out, or they can go to, like our farm area, say Keystone Subdivision in Omaha, Nebraska. So we have KeystoneHomeReport.com, which is a URL that goes to a lead capture page. And that's what we're trying to get them, because for most people who are in a farm who own a home, it's always of value to get some kind of report, whether it's a report on spring cleaning, things to do to your house to fix it up, or it could be they just want to know the value of their house, or they want to know. We also send out reports of, put people on our website, like a buyer, gets new listings that come in their parameters. We set up parameters for sellers, and any new listing that comes up, say in the Keystone area, they would receive that in their email. So they're kind of up to date on the new stuff that's going out. They don't have to grab flyers, blah, blah, blah. So cold calling and farming. And then the next one would be events, right? So having events, getting events scheduled. I'm going to go through that a little bit here in just a little bit, but you can also attend other events. It's a little bit tougher right now when I'm shooting this video on August 20th, 2020, when we're, I don't know if we're in the middle of a pandemic, on the end of a pandemic, but somehow we're in the midst of a pandemic where you're not really getting together with as many people as we used to, but there's other ways around that too. So, and then number 4, obviously low hanging fruit, for sale by owners. Again, you're going to talk to people that they have they have a already preset mindset. Is that right? On a relationship with a real estate agent. They're telling the world that they do not want to use a relationship yet, right? If they find this difficult, and it, just so you know, I've never gone into a for sale by owner where the husband and wife agreed on this, right? It was either the husband or the wife that wanted to try the for sale by owner, that wanted to try to save the commission, and the other one was like, this is a stupid idea. So just know that. And then expireds is another low-hanging fruit. And again, depending upon the market and where the market's at, whether you're in a seller or buyer's market, there's a seller's market, there's typically not as many FSBOs and expireds, whereas in a buyer's market, there typically is more. And then number 6 is haven't met, right? So that's anybody that you haven't met, right? And so you're trying to turn them into Mets, right? So when you're in real estate, when you're in this type of an industry, you have to announce to the world, no matter where you go, it could be a kids event, it could be a booster club meeting, it could be anything. You've got to let people know what you do for a living, and then turn them into a Met, and then try to, become top of mind and gain their trust to be able to refer you or actually do business with you. Number 7 is a business mixer. And again, to me, you can join a business networking group, or you can create your own. And for me, I've decided to create my own. We've had great results from it. From a business networking group type situation, we looked at kind of the real estate transaction, right? So in a real estate transaction, in every transaction, you're going to need a lender. You're going to need a title company. You're going to need probably a pest inspection. You're going to need maybe a home inspection, a home warranty, radon. You're going to need all of these entities within a transaction. And those people, those industries typically make the most amount of money on a real estate transaction. So if you're an agent who's doing 40, 50, 60, 100 transactions a year, and you're sending your business specifically solely to these entities, you're going to have some power with them and influence with them on being able to get them to pay for some of your marketing pieces. And I'm not going to talk about that today, but it's a very powerful thing to be able to have that. And then you have your secondary businesses. So if you go to a house and you're talking to them about listing their home, or if you're on the buy side and you just did a home inspection, you're going to need electricians, plumbers, handymen, painters, carpet cleaners. You're going to need all those industries. And I don't necessarily have just an exclusive relationship like I do with my lender, like I do with my title company. We have multiple relationships because those industries usually get busy because they're usually one man or one woman shops. And so they typically can only take on so many businesses, or only so many hours in a day. So we typically will have 2 or 3. So like right now we have 56 businesses in our business networking group that get invited to our every other month business mixers. So that's just an idea of that. There's, a lot more detail on how to put that one together. And then there is, anything else, right? Anything else, you come up with it. Those are some great ones that I came up with, but you can always add in different things to be able to create a database. Everybody that you meet should be going into your database, and you should always ask them the magic question. If you knew somebody was thinking about buying or selling real estate anytime now or in the near future, would you feel comfortable in introducing me? You have to ask that question. And then the next thing is you got to qualify them, right? You got to get their name, you got to get their phone number, you got to get their email address, their home address. I always suggest to get the birthday because that is the most special day of the year. You've got to get, find them on social media. We use Facebook exclusively, doing a little bit and messing around with a little bit with Instagram, whatever social media site you're on. Facebook seems to be the most popular one. And then step number 3 is you're going to input that information, right? Anybody that is putting together a database, I suggest that you put it in Excel first, right? So you got that Excel doc, first name, last name, phone number, email address, address, city, zip, and then birthday, and yes or no, are you connected with them on social media? Then the other thing I suggest people to do, most everybody here that's going to listen to this has got a Facebook page, and you probably got 300 plus people that you're on Facebook with. Have you categorized everybody on that page? Is there people on your Facebook page that you should be getting rid of? Because you can create a really powerful algorithm that you are engaging with the people that are important to you, that you're also building top of mind offline. You're trying to build top of mind online as well. So let's talk about CRM for just a second. So there's a lot of them that are out there. Basically, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So you want to be able to email, you want to be able to track your business within a CRM. You want to be able to print out labels. There's a lot of things like we use by referral only. One that I always suggest because it's cost effective is Referral Maker. It's a Brian Buffini one. By referral is a Joe Stump one. It's got a lot of training that's involved in that, meaning real estate training, not training on the CRM, but there's a lot of other components that come with that make that's a little over $200 a month. So I've used Salesforce. That was expensive up front. That Salesforce is great if you're going to create funnels, buyers coming in and they're clicking on things. It's going to take them down a certain funnel and that type of stuff to give them specific information that they're looking for. But I'm going to tell you what, those are confusing, and you typically want to just plug into what somebody's already created. Top Producer is another popular one. You got Wise Agent. Again, we use Joe Stump's by referral only, and then obviously there's Referral Maker. So I would go check those out. If you're not using one, I would go check that out. And just so you know, everything that I just talked about is one of the major pieces that real estate agents, and I call it a foundation, that real estate agents do not do. And they won't do it without some form of accountability in place. Now, again, everybody agrees that you need to do this, but why don't they put it together? I mean, I've worked with agents that have been in the business for 10, 15 years, and then we meet and they still haven't put together a database. And the agents that have put together a database and that they do market and stay top of mind and branding, yourself to that database, they've built their own lead generation system. And that's how they're getting warm leads referred to them, is through their database. And that's one of the things that we teach, and one of the things that we hold agents accountable to getting done. And again, remember, I don't charge anything to do this unless you're producing, or unless we get you producing. And then marketing system, as far as, you're going to nurture. That's what the marketing system is there to stay top of mind, is to nurture your database. So you're going to do that through mailing. You're going to do that through making phone calls. And this is a system, and these are systems within one big system. So the marketing system is mail, call, see, email, social media. And then each one of these, mailing is a system. Calling is a system, seeing is a system, email is a system, social media is a system. So you're going to do things in each one of these categories. And kind of what we call a complete communication. If you talk to somebody, right, on the phone, you're typically going to plant some kind of a seed, whether you're calling a cold call and you're asking them if they've ever thought about selling their home. And if they did sell their home, where would they move to? That in itself is planting a seed. Right. And so now what you have to do is to try to stay top of mind and stay relevant to those people, to see if anything comes out of that. Now, your database, people who know, like you, and already trust you, you're going to ask them for referrals. You're going to ask them for introductions. You're going to refer them. And then you're also going to send note cards. Note cards are probably the one most powerful piece of communication, is a handwritten note that most real estate agents, because of the time that it takes to do this, again, it's not easy. Real estate is not a easy business, but it is a very simple business, because writing a note card, that concept of that is very simple. It's just not easy to do consistently every day. So we suggest that you do 10 a week, 10 a week, 10 a week. And then this this is extremely powerful because this is what the marketing system does. Okay. So it's the reticular activator system. Okay. Which the RAS filters and prioritizes sensory information to let the mind be focused and alert. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you. It's the RAS is a cluster of nerve cells at the base of your brain, which basically acts as a mental filter. In other words, it controls what you focus on. Each day, we are constantly bombarded with sounds, information, and all sorts of stimuli from our environment, such as sights, sounds, and feelings. We can't possibly pay attention to every single thing that comes at us. Without this filter, we would experience an overload of senses, and it would be impossible to function in this world. This powerful portion of our brain brings to our attention the things we think about consistently while filtering out the things that are unimportant to us. The RAS brings to our conscious mind only the things that are important to us. So when you look at the reticular activator, okay, and I talk about mail, call, see, email, social media, means that you're posting on social media, okay? When you talk to somebody on the phone and you ask them, you go through the referral, the referral generator, and you ask them that magic question. If you know somebody who's thinking about buying or selling real estate anytime now or in their future, would you feel comfortable in introducing me? Once you ask that, it's like a splash. So if you imagine your sphere of influence is kind of like a pond, okay? Everybody's out there in the pond. And when you ask that question, it's like throwing a rock in the pond. It creates a big splash, but then there's a ripple effect, right? And eventually that ripple effect, after that splash, there's a certain amount of time that ripple effect will go away. So what your job to do in your sphere of influence, in your database, is to keep the rocks going in, to keep the ripple effects going 365 days a year, right? You're not going to do splashes 365 days a year. You may do a splash once a week, right? And a splash could be an email that they read or that they see that comes from you. A splash could be a newsletter that goes out. A splash could be a magnet calendar. A splash could be a video that they watch of you, of one of your listings, or maybe it's a video of a referral that you just closed a deal. Maybe it's a video of somebody that you're promoting within your business networking group. Or it could be a video educating them on real estate on the buy or the sell side or some component within that process. It can also be a social media post. It could be a party that you invite them to. So those are the splashes. Mail, call, see, email, social media. You have 5 splashes that you can create within your database that creates this ripple effect that when somebody does run into somebody, that they have had a splash within the last 48 hours. And eventually the splashes happen so often that for a lot of people that are in your database, it just becomes top of mind always. Like, hey, do you have an attorney? Yeah, my attorney's name is. Do you have a doctor? Could you refer? Yeah, and the same thing that you want them to know is that they have a real estate agent. And that takes time. I don't know how much time it takes. I mean, I've been in business since '98. We've been doing this consistently since 2010. So the last 10 years, we've done it consistently. We generate probably, anywhere from 60 to 80 transactions out of our database in our farm area. And it's because we're top of mind with them. We're not doing a lot of phone calling, asking for business. Business is just coming to us because of that they know we're in real estate and we're staying top of mind with them. So that is very key when it comes to having faith with this type of system and putting in place. And most real estate agents don't, because they are looking for an easy button within real estate. I mean, again, if it was that easy to generate leads and opportunities to go on listings and write up offers with buyers, everybody would do it, right? Or everybody would be successful at it, because it seems like everybody's in real estate. But anyhow, so marketing system, which we've kind of already covered this, is mail, call, see, email, social media. But how many times should you do it, right? So I feel consistently, just on the bare minimum, you should have 12 pieces. And that's a newsletter. And I'm going to show you ours, but that's a newsletter that should go out once a month consistently, same time, every single month, whatever the date is you pick, the 20th, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But they're going to consistently get that newsletter. And honestly, it doesn't matter if they even read it. Okay. Just that they see that it came from you and you're top of mind. And then within the next 48 hours, they run into somebody who's thinking about buying or selling real estate. Hopefully they think of you and give you a phone call. Number 3, or call, is you're going to call 3 times a year. What are you going to call 3 times a year about? I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. And then you're going to try and see them at least once a year, which is a little bit tougher now with being in the middle of a pandemic. It's a little bit tougher, but it's not impossible. You can still do it. You can still go for coffee. You just got to maybe wear a mask. You can do Zoom. We'll talk about those in just a second. And then you've got email. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. You just got to come up with the content, right? And I'm going to veer you towards, if you want advice on where to just get a one package deal to be able to do all of this stuff, I'm going to tell you, it's not mine. I mean, it's what we use in real estate, and I'll share it with you by the time we're done with this video. And then there's social media, right? And this is where I talked a little bit about crafting Facebook so that way the only people that you're friends with are people that you've met, people that know you, people that like you, people that you're mailing, people that you're emailing, people that you're calling, people that you're inviting to parties. Those are the same people that are on social media. And social media is just a story, right? It's your story. It's your business story. It's what you're doing in business. It's how you're interacting with people in your business through video, through pictures. And then it's your personal life. They get to know you and your family, the thing that you want to stay away from in social media. And I can't stress this enough. Never, ever post anything political or religious, because I'm just telling you, you're going to turn people off. I'm not saying that you can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you the direct result is you're going to get people to block you. You're going to get people to not want to do business with you. And then I always ask the question, if you're a Republican, would you sell a Democrat's house? And the answer is always yes. It could be, if you're a Democrat, would you sell a Republican's house? Yes. If you were Jewish, will you sell a Catholic person? Yes, you would. The problem is that if you start to, tout about what your religion is, if you start to tout what political party you're associated with, you're going to turn off 50% of your audience. So I already turn off 50% of my audience just because of my personality. So I don't need any assistance with the others. So anyhow, that was supposed to be funny. Hopefully it was. And then communicating with your tribe or your sphere of influence. Tribe, database, sphere of influence. So one is your newsletter. We talked about this. This should go out once a month. It's customized. Linda and Gary's home news. It could be John's home news, whatever it is. This is folded. I don't even care if they read it, okay? Just that they know that they got it from me, okay? That's it. I mean, they're sitting over the trash can with their mail just like everybody does, and they throw it away. They may open it up just to see something. They may not, right? So anyhow, there was one time that we printed our newsletter. It was actually upside down, right? Upside down. The page that goes inside was upside down from when you're reading it. And again, my wife was embarrassed that I was sending that out, but first of all, didn't want to waste 400 newsletters with 2 pages, 11 by 17, printed front and back. It's expensive to print those things out. But I just tested it out just to see if anybody would even. I had one person. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means only one person wanted to point it out to me, or that only one person reads it. But anyhow, the next thing is sending something that isn't related with real estate via email, right? And so like our newsletter, we also post that on social media, right? As a PDF so that people can see it PDF. So it's not like we're just mailing that, but we're also getting a little bit of, by emailing it and by posting it. So, and then letters from the heart, and then also a seasonal message that goes out. These are things that are completely off the rails from real estate, but they make people feel good when they read them. And that's the feeling that I want when people think of our real estate team, MRG Realty Group, when they think of me as a coach. I want them to associate that, wow, Gary really, I mean, that's a pleasant surprise, okay? And then we have videos, right? So whether it's a video of a new listing that we have, doing a tour of it, which is kind of natural now because of COVID and, you know, the pandemic and everything else. And then we have, we do testimonials and, you know, but we're just shooting a fair amount of video, and the video is not only being posted on social media, it's also being emailed out in an email to our clients that they can click on it. And the email system, or the CRM system that we have, we know who's clicking on the videos, and then we follow up with a phone call. And then there's also, you know, again, the most special day of the year, which is your birthday. We Facebook this, we shoot videos around this, we send emails around this, we shoot text messages around this, we call. And again, it all depends on where you're at in my database, A+, A, or a B. On how I'm going to interact. We also invite people to a monthly party for a drink, which is our business mixer party. I just kind of correlate the two. So again, most people don't show up to get their free drink, but that's okay. I invited them. It was a reason for me to call and give them an invite. So, and then there's Fun Day Monday, which is basically just a contest that we run once a month on the second Monday. It gets emailed out automatically. And then these are called micro communications, right? So we send out probably about 600 emails with this in it. We also post it on Facebook, and we change the message from send us an email with a reply with the right answer to send us a direct message. And you would be amazed on how many people love contests. And so we give away a $25 Amazon card that everybody can use right now. And people love it. I mean, I've even gotten stopped when I've been walking my dog in my neighborhood, because we have a good fair amount of people in our farm area, because since we've been working it for so long, that we have email addresses and they're on this. I had somebody stop me and say, when am I going to win that contest? So anyhow, it's fun stuff. And it's, again, it has nothing to do with real estate. And then a referral reminder postcard. This is something, again, that's sent out for us. It automatically goes out. It goes out to anybody who's ever referred us, anybody that says that they would refer us, and pretty much most of our database. But it's a constant thing that goes out, and it's got, on one side, it's just a fun message, and on the other side, it gives them an example on how they can refer us. And it's amazing on how every one of these splashes happen, whether it's this referral postcard or a message on Facebook goes out or a newsletter goes out, that we end up getting some kind of a phone call, right? So we have probably, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 communications a month that go out. Now, some people think that's a lot, right? That's 80, 88. That's like 96 different communications, but they all have a purpose, right? They're either educating them about real estate, about the market. It's some feel good, something coming out from us. And again, they don't have to read it. And that's not the point. The point is that they're seeing us consistently. Okay. And that's a big word, is consistently. And then communication, obviously Facebook post is another one. You know, these are different posts that we get that you can post. We're posting videos. We're posting events, you know, kids playing sports, kids events, babies, you know, I mean, car accidents, I don't know, just stuff about us and what our life. It's like a reality show. You can go to my page and you can scroll down and you're going to know what's going on. And that's at least 3 or 4, maybe sometimes 5 times a week that we post. So you just want to be active and you want to be out there. So, and then we do annual events. Let me just put all these up so I can talk about them. So we do 2 annual events, and these are a couple things that unfortunately we were unable to do this year. So we usually do Cinco de Mayo, and we get big crowds that come to this, and we do a family fall festival. It happens to be around Halloween, and so it's they're both themed events, and those are for everybody that's in our database. Doesn't matter where you fall in as an A+, a B, but it's for everybody. And then clients and referrals then they get anybody who in the last 12 months or somebody who is just a super duper great referral source. They get invited to our baseball night, our movie night, a bowling night. We got Top Golf here in Omaha, Nebraska now, so we'll probably do a Top Golf event. So just things you're always thinking, axe throwing, I don't know, whatever it is, you're thinking of fun things to be able to get together with your, your A's and your A pluses, because you want to stay top of mind. And again, it doesn't matter, because every event we do, it comes with a couple emails. It's definitely, there's going to be something sent out, or it could be attached to our newsletter that goes out. Either way, they're going to get that. There's going to be posts on social media about it. We're going to create an event page on social media. So again, and then as we get closer to the event and we're trying to build attendance, we're definitely going to, call our A's, our A pluses, and our B's to make sure that, hey, we really want them to come to this event. We've done pumpkin giveaways around Halloween. We've done pie giveaways. I mean, just stuff. We've done mimosas for our moms on Mother's Day. We've done pop buys, which is a Buffini thing, which is kind of fun as well. So it's got a purpose. So just, again, you can get creative on this stuff too. So, and then also, there's the pie giveaway. And so when you're communicating with your sphere of influence, right, your A's and your A pluses, to me, I would even throw in here text, call, text, mail, right? And I got call, text, mail, but I would almost throw in text, call, text, mail. And so I would send them a text message, send 10 in the morning, and it's the same message to all 10. Haven't heard your voice in a while. Would love to connect with you. When would be a good time this week that we can chat? Right? A lot of times that communication will stay within a text message, and we just go back and forth. And then I just go to the mail, which then I send them a thank you note or a note card that basically says, hey, it was great connecting with you via text message. Hope everything goes great. Hope your trip goes well, whatever we came up with. But I'm following up and I'm sending them a mail. Again, these are, right now, we are only doing this with our A's and our A pluses. Anybody who's referred us, anybody who's done business with us, okay? And then if you do, it does turn into a call. So you text, they say, hey, we can call, I can talk right now, or I can talk at 2:00 this afternoon. We schedule that in. Then we have a call. And where I'm kind of going with those is sometimes I'll do a Zoom call if they can get on a Zoom call, or I'll do just a normal phone call. And then once that phone call, we get caught up and everything else, again, don't keep me a secret. I'm planting a seed. Then I'll send a text message right after the phone call, right after the Zoom call. Hey, thanks a lot so much for connecting with me. It was great catching up with you. Hope you have a great trip, whatever. It's a text message. And then I'm going to send a note card as well. So that's what it's called. And again, I learned that from not Brian Buffini. I learned that from Joe Stump. And that's what's called a complete communication, right? You're following it all the way through. And then you're really solidifying and staying top of mind with your people. So, and then the last thing I wanted to show you is a marketing schedule. Right? So in order to get all of this stuff done, you need to, and it doesn't matter if it's April, it doesn't matter if it's June, doesn't matter if it's January. You need to sit down, write out everything on your calendar so you know when to start promoting. I've even got on this calendar when I need to start reaching out to my sponsors, because all of our parties are paid for. Typically our marketing's paid for, but I don't call them the day before the marketing's getting ready to go out. I call them and chat with them probably a good 3 to 4 months, 2 months before the actual event even happens. And right now we've done them so much for the last 5 years that they just expect the phone call for that. And they just say, yep, count me in, I'm in. And it's not because they get great business from the parties. That's not it. It's because we do such a great job and we've proven to our partners that we are there to help them in their business, promote their business, and also to refer them business for them to be able to make money. So we're typically, anybody, if you're in my referral source, you can go to each one of those people in our business networking group, and I'll almost guarantee you that we are their number one referral source. And so they want to take care of us. And so anyhow, so that's pretty much all I've got. I don't think, I'm going to double check here because you guys are so chitty chatty out there. I think I got one person on, which I appreciate. We don't have any questions. So that's good. So I'm going to end this with a preview for next week. On Tuesday, I've got a real estate agent that she is going to, I'm not even going to tell you her name yet. Okay. I just want you to tune in, but she's a great real estate agent. She has literally been in the business less than 2 years. She's probably going to close up to 50 transactions this year. She's got an ISA that works for her that handles Zillow leads and incoming leads. She's starting up a farm. She does an amazing job with video. She does an amazing job with her farm area. So I want you guys to make sure you check that out next Tuesday at 1 o'clock right here on the MREA coaching channel. So we'll talk to you soon.